how he did that. Flat road and everybody's doing 5 miles an hour and he's on his side. Crazy. Looks like you made the video again, buddy. Me and Adventure Puppy on another road trip, huh? You tired of these? This is day 3. Left the island, went to some friends in Western Pemberton, grabbed some cameras up on the mountain. Had some cocktails at night with some friends, some good laughs. And then drove, what did we drive yesterday? 6.5 hours to go pick up my truck. Now we're on our way back, and we're both over the road tripping. So I stopped at this park. It's called Downton Park, Downton Lake, D-O-W-T-O-N. Google that up. Kind of remote. I'm not sure if I'm going to take the shortcut over the mountains here or not, or double back, but I knew this lake. I thought it was a little ways up from the highway to take the dog for a rip around and some food. Anyway, I'm stopping. While I'm sitting here for a little break of running around laps in this deserted park with the dog and driving. I get some emails shared. And also a shout out to our First Nations hero, superhero lady. It's her birthday today. It's got a text from home earlier today when I was in service. It's her birthday today. And to let her know that we all love her and hope she has a super great, awesome day. And I'll be back and hooking up with the ladies again soon. Hey, puppy? Okay, listen to this one, all right? Listen to this. What do we got? Let's type this as red. This is titled 2 Experiences from My Dad. These are all fairly recent. Hey, Steve, hope all is well. Just ordered my hat. Happy to see the Hot store open, ready for the sweatshirts. I think that would take the round table to the next level. Yeah, maybe. Had no idea I'd have other experience to share, but my dad finally let me in on his secret. Something he's been hiding for almost 50 years. Yeah, no doubt. You know how many people are holding secrets? My experience happened on the New York-Connecticut line. I saw a Sabe while working highway construction at night. I tried to relay my story to my dad and my mom one night, and it didn't go well. My dad smiled, and my mom followed his lead. I stopped sharing my experience. 6 months later, my dad, a Vietnam vet with a Purple Heart among 11 other medals, was diagnosed with mesothelioma at 78. They gave him a year to live. He lasted 4 months. Oh, it was devastating. Having been retired due to my own health issues, I spent virtually every day and night taking care of him and sharing what he had left. As we sat around at chemo or home, I would often pull out the latest how to hunt videos just so he could hear people relay their experiences. He started to enjoy listening as it took his mind off his health, so we started to listen every day. After a handful of days listening to experiences, I figured I'd ask him if he'd heard of rock apes in Vietnam. He went silent for a while. I could tell something wasn't right. He finally said, yeah, we had to deal with those damn rock apes or Sabes for the entire Vietnam War. Holy shit, the entire Vietnam War. We were constantly on the lookout for grenades flying through the air. The fact that Sabes were throwing rocks on the complicated issues. I went silent. Not only did he finally share these experiences, but he confirmed what he thought they were, and that he was sorry he never said anything about it. My dad ran point for his platoon, constantly up ahead of the others, and had plenty of rocks tossed by him. He, like your grandfather, kept this secret for about 50 years, only telling a couple of weeks before his passing. As if I didn't have enough reasons to share knowledge about these Sabe already, I now felt the responsibility to share my dad's experiences because they're unlike any I had heard before. Been with you since the early How to Hunt days, Steve, and like I always say, keep it going. You've taken this topic out of the dark, and there's no turning back. We're all with you. So happy to see you with a companion. Ruby will be a great protector. For my dad and me, thank you. And for this place to share the truth. You can share my name again. Theo Anastasio. Dunk SB_T from Connecticut. Stay safe, brother. Hey, man, sorry about your dad passing away. I'm super stoked that he came clean in a way to describe it, before he passed. And if you've got some more detailed experiences that he shared, share away, man. Email us back and share away. I don't know how many more people that's going to knee-jerk into getting the secret out. I don't know why people don't talk openly about this shit anymore, but they're not now. People are rapidly coming out of the dark, right? Kentucky Forest Buddies. Hi, Steve. My name is Fred. I want to get something kind of out there to the so-called Bigfoot experts out there. First off, I want to explain a little about myself. I'm an early retired union roofer. Busted my ass for my girl and 2 sons for the better part of my life. I got hurt really bad on a job that I was doing about 5 years ago and received a pretty good settlement. Now I finally was able to move to Pikeville, Kentucky and buy my dream house with about 36 acres on the side of a very heavily wooded mountain. Now for the first 3 months, everything was just going great. And the noises started in. Like the bangs on the house in the back of my pickup truck, followed by what sounded like a really weird, heavy kind of laughing and giggles. I would open the front door and yell and fire a couple rounds from my .45 into the air, and then everything would get quiet for a little, and then I would hear this god-awful scream/roar about 200 yards up the side of the property, and then from the opposite end of the property, I would hear this. I guess the best way to explain it was like a really pissed off, sarcastic sounding Chinese man. That chatting would last a few minutes, and then, where I heard the roar from, I started hearing it chatter back, kind of more scornful, I would say. Now, I'm not a skeptic or a fanatic, but I had a good idea what the hell was going on. So, that is when I started trying to interact with them. So I would try to walk in the woods as far as I could, but due to my work injury, wouldn't be that far, but it was far enough to see the evidence. Steve, what I saw was the most beautiful, unbelievable tree formations that just blew me away. I'm talking teepee-like things and starburst-type branch things that were, and there was a bunch of, I would have to say, 4 to 5 inch diameter, 15 to 20 foot tall trees jammed into the ground, totally upside down, with the roots in the air. So the next day, with the camera in hand, I went to the area and started leaving assorted fruit and vegetables for them. I would stay up there for hours on end with multiple camera batteries going dead, trying to get them on film. I even purchased multiple trail cameras and put them out, and even voice recorders, but to no avail. Nothing. So, one day I talked to this old-timer who lived in the area for like forever. I believe he said he was from the Chickasaw Indian tribe. I hope that I spelt that right. And he told me that there was a family clan of them that lived in the area, and that more than likely it was the kids that were messing about my house and property. I told him about the chatters and the giggles and the big roar. He said that the big guy probably was cussing the 2 ones for smacking my house and truck and for me not to worry about it. I told him about the structures I found up in the hills and how I'm trying to get them on film or recorder or some kind of proof so my family and friends don't think I'm a kook. I also told I haven't heard anything from them for a while, and that's when he told me that I need to leave the technology at home. He said to get rid of the trail cameras and the recorders and camera and to go in there blind with nothing. Treat them with respect. Treat them like I would to get treated, and not to treat them like family. And to treat them like family. Now, I really don't want to bend your ears off, but to make this a little shorter, I did what he said. The next day, and as sure as I'm breathing, I started getting responses, from wood knocks to hooting, and what sounded like my little chihuahua yapping, and little giggles. For the life of me, something that sounded like a woman saying, "Hey." Now that's pretty cool, I thought. And then the gifts started. They would leave me little twig things woven into little trinkets as on my dashboard of my pickup truck and front steps. Hell, one day my wife will open up the front door, and there on the stoop was a bunch of assorted wildflowers. Right next to it was a pile of mushrooms and wild okra and spinach. Now that wasn't the reason I titled this My Forest Buddies. One day me and my little Chihuahua buddy went up the hillside to leave them some lasagna I made. When Chico, my little Chihuahua, froze up and started shivering and whimpering. Off to the right side of us, about 20 yards from us, I saw the undergrowth shaking, and I heard the squeals and snores, and out came a wild pig tearing ass right for us. Before I could even react, I heard and felt a very, very heavy footfall coming up from behind me, and I heard a loud whoosh, and that's when I saw a log about a foot in diameter and about 10 feet long came flying over my head in the direction of the pig, and two huge boulder rocks from above the pig up the hill came crashing down, and between the log and the rocks, it basically wasted him. Now, for all these so-called Bigfoot experts like blank, blank, and blank, blank, and that duck, okay, and that, we don't need to be disparaging people's, all right, that blank-faced lady primatologist from the other reality TV show who all keep calling these people primates and monkeys and Gigantopithecus. And I'm so sick and pissed off. I didn't know that monkeys or apes know how to leave gifts like flowers and edible mushrooms and vegetables, and how to make and leave woven trinkets on my dashboard of my locked pickup truck. And also how to defend me and my little Chihuahua from certain death from a wild pig. These people are not apes or extinct gorillas. They are their own species and are highly intelligent. I am sure that they had been here before us even. Not for all these YouTubers and so-called experts. If you really want to have a relationship with them, don't try to expose them or be glory hounds for the world to exploit them. They are not stupid. They know your intentions, whether good nor bad. Don't leave them hanging in the breeze. Don't leave them hanging in the breeze for shit government to kill them. Remember, they are family species too. I mean, sure, just like people, there's good ones and bad ones. But from my experience, they're my family too. So, Steve, that's my share, and I hope it opens up some minds. And thanks, Steve, for all you do. On a separate note, I'd love to pay you for your fishing guide services. It'd be cool as F to hang out with you and fish. Thanks again, Steve, for what you do. Okay, man, thanks for the email. I think that Mike from, I think it's Ontario Sasquatch, he has had the same things happen to him a lot, and stuff showing up in the house, and I think pictures of cameras and stuff, all sorts of shit, right? No, they're definitely not monkeys. They're definitely not what the easy out there trying to use to dupe all of you, the Gigantopithecus thing. Lying bastards. They know. They know they're lying. So do we. Anyway, that's very interesting. There is a lot of people out there that do have these positive interactions with these types of people. But I have a funny feeling there's more out there than just these types of people right here that you're having experiences with. I'm pretty sure. I wonder if Dave Plattis knows a little more at this point or not. I'm going to have to hook up with him again pretty quick. Actually, on that note, I just talked to him. He got a hold of me yesterday. He's got a new film mode. I haven't watched it, but I'm going to throw down a plug for it. I might even be able to screenshot it. I'm not sure. I told him I'd share it with you guys when I got home, because I can't. This is on the GoPro. And then I'm going to throw this on my iPhone. What's it? Whatever, Movie Maker, whatever on here. I can't do much with it. But anyway, Dave has a new informative show movie out. And actually, let me find the text right here. It should be on here. Where are you? Missing 401, The UFO Connection is the title of that one. All right, you guys? And I don't have any service here, so I can't pull it up. But anyway, I'll do a proper plug for him later when I get home. But that's the heads up. I'm looking forward to watching it myself. I do know I was talking to him the day after he ran into something unexpectedly rural and had an insane interview with this couple. I believe that's in the movie. Very informative. Anyway, I get a little sidetracked there. Again, thanks for that email. And if you got more information that might help the people as well, share knowledge. Share away, man. All right? Share it away. This title is Situation in Germany. That's coincidentally because we just had an email from the Rhine River, right? That flows along Germany, between Germany and Switzerland. Listen to this. I missed out the date. This was July 24th this year. Hi, Steve. Love your channel and your attitude. Keep it up. I sent some photos of big tracks north of Nordegg last year, and you showed them. But this time, following a story you read from the lady seeing a Sasquatch in Switzerland, I wanted to share this with you. It's something that happened to me while I was in my converted van in the parking lot for Burg Eltz, E-L-T-Z, a famous castle in Germany. I wrote it as it happened in a Facebook post, so I figured the easiest and purest thing to do was paste in that Facebook post. Backstory on me. I'm British. I'm a professional photographer and adventurer. And the van I was in, myself, converted Mercedes Sprinter. I was alone in the parking lot. Before going full-time in photography, I was a cop in central London for 14 years. I'm rational and sensible. I'm currently in Sweden on my way to the top of Norway, my homeland, for 80 days of landscape and aurora photography. In terms of wildlife in the area, there are no bears or wolves, etc. in this part of Germany. There are small to medium deer. The terrain is crazy steep. Anyhow, here's what I wrote at the time. A little bit of a situation here in Germany. I just had a genuine what the F moment. Worse than when the two dudes in Serbia were trying to break in. I'm parked in a forest a few kilometers from any other people. Steep slopes and thick trees all around. I'm hearing sounds in the forest, breaking branches, etc. I figure it's a deer or foxes or whatever, and the sounds of crickets and frogs all around. I have all the windows cracked and the skylight is wide open, but for some reason I feel really uneasy. I close the windows and put the skylight on the catch with about a 3-inch gap for the opening, and I carry on listening. I realize that all the sounds stop. No frogs, no crickets, no wind rustling leaves in branches, and no snapping twigs. I lay back and try to focus on losing the sound of hearing my own blood pumping, and suddenly something hits the side of the van. It sounds like a stone, not a pebble or an acorn, a stone. It's hard and the metal rings. It's hard and the metal rings for a brief moment. I don't really react. It just happens. My focus peaks and I'm listening for any sound at all from the outside with my ear up to the gap in the skylight, and a few minutes pass. Still not a single sound from nature. Suddenly the van is hit again, but this isn't a pebble. The skylight and the roof are both hit, and it's hard to describe the sound. It's as if something is dragged from the skylight and hits the metal roof and continues for a foot or so, then lifts. It's not hard. It's not soft. It's kind of muted. My mind's eye sees a hand or something as if grabbing for the skylight, and it's just out of reach. So hitting the roof and pulling away. It sounds like that, and it doesn't sound like a mistake. It sounds considered, deliberate, a little slow. But the roof is 9 to 10 feet off the ground. The van is 2.9 meters tall, to be exact. My heart is in my mouth, and all my senses are so intently tuned to trying to see, hear, smell whatever hit the van. There's no light at all, no street lights for miles, and a sky full of cloud. The only source of light is me, the glow of my heater controller in the front, and the USB socket in the bed. A minute or so passes and a branch breaks in the distance, probably about 50 meters into the forest, and then the crickets start chirping again, and an owl hoots. And that's the story of what just happened. And now it's fair to say that I'm on edge. Add that to the huge silhouetted figure that walked past the window at 1 a.m. in Glen Etive, E-T-I-V-E, Scotland last October, miles from a single soul, and I'm thinking maybe there's some stuff going on that we really don't know a lot about. No doubt. Follow-up post. Update. I left in nothing but my boxers. A big branch snapped nearby in the forest, and I was watching through the gap in the skylight in that direction. No light there or anywhere else at all. Then a minute or so later, there were 5 taps on that side of the van over about 3 seconds, and they were rhythmic. What the actual bejesus did... What the actual bejesus did all that? And now I'm at a petrol station in the nearest town trying to work out where to go. When I left the car park and got into the road, there was a wet smear across the road. It's hot and dry here. The trees beside the van, you don't have to show it, but there's nothing to see. I just added a pic for context. The green in the top left is the reflection of the green light inside the van. I took this to the window, and it took all my courage to turn the light on. Ooh, no doubt. Let's see if you guys can see that. I hope so. There is the picture that he took from inside of his van. Nothing anybody wants to see by themselves after feeling taps in the van and rocks thrown at it. Dark forest with nothing there. And like most of us would, took a picture from inside the van. Right? Well, keep us posted on your adventures, man. I'm sure now this all's happened to you, something's going to happen again. I almost put money on it, unfortunately. But that just seems how it goes, right? Keep us posted. There's another one titled My Story. It's -15 outside. It's getting a little chilly in here. I still want to thank you for everything you do for everyone that shares with you. You're a stand-up guy. The kind of a man that is hard to find. I was married to one for 11 years and lost 13 years ago. Still hoping to find another, though, to share the rest of this crazy ride with, all the well. I'm sure you will. Thank you for the kind words. My story was last summer at the end of this small little town where I planted a community garden. I always take this little dog that I had inherited from my daughter. She never gave her any attention or time. So, Lucy, dog's name, wouldn't go to her anymore and would go under my blankets when my daughter tried talking to her. This is part of the story. Patient. Excuse me. Lucy is part chocolate lab and chihuahua. Don't ask how, because I don't know. I was just going to go, what? And she loves me. My mind is great about never running off from me ever. Well, I was looking down the road where the little city will burn the limbs they trim from the electric wire. There it was that I see through thing. There it was, that see-through thing with the shape of a body. It was swaying back and forth, and it was only about 4 feet tall. It was in August, damned hot, and no wind of any kind. No one. I hollered at Lucy, told her to load up. She knew that meant it was time to go. Then these tall weeds in one area, about 3 foot across, just started moving back and forth, like something was trying to escape. All of a sudden, Lucy started wagging her tail, as fast as it would go, a happy wag, and started walking toward those weeds. I stopped her right before she reached them. Like I said, she minded me very good. I told her, don't go near those, get to the Jeep. About that time, I heard a voice. I do know it was God's voice. He said, do not turn your back on that, talking about the clear thing by the woodpile. So, I'm walking backward to my Jeep, and as I'm doing that, those weeds went still, and a dark blue thick mist rose up out of it slowly and floated toward the small woods that are down there. As soon as I knew what I was looking at, I felt so scared, like I'd never felt. I also felt like what was ever in those weeds was enticing my dog toward it, which is very rare. She just doesn't go to anyone. She's friendly and will let you pet her, but never, there's lack of some punctuation. It's making it a little rough. Sorry. She just doesn't go to anyone. She's friendly and will let you pet her, but never will go to you until I tell her it's okay. But I think she heard that fear in my voice when I told her to stop and not go near those weeds. I only will miss a few videos a week, but was hoping if anyone else has ever seen this mist, or is it possible it had something to do with that clear body shape? I hope this was an easy read. If not, sorry. And thanks again, Steve, for what you do. Any questions you have, my email. I live in Missouri. Billy. All right, Billy. Sorry if I butchered it. It's probably my fault. Thanks for that email. I don't have anything to add to your question myself. I'm sure somebody will in the comment section below. Because if you've seen it, somebody else probably has seen that same thing, right? But many people have seen the invisible-ish things. Many. And I think it was Dave's previous show, Dave Pilates' previous show, where there's a bow hunting woman sitting in a tree stand and she videotaped one of those suckers moving in the trees. Got it on video. Weird. It's weird how some people get stuff on video and others can't even fire up a camera. And I know for a fact Dave and his wife, they have had all the cameras go dead in an area before. And when they came back down the trail, there's a big chunk of wood stuffed into the dry ground in the trail in the middle of it when they came back. Anyway, reminded me of him telling me that one time. Crazy shit. Okay, let me mark this as red. One more. Me and the Dougie are going to get going. Steve, my man, I've been wrestling on telling my story. 'Cause to say it out loud, I'd. That's the title. All right, here we go. Well, I don't know if I would believe me. Just a bit on me. I just turned 60. Have held top secret clearances, several levels during my career, and may doubt my memory, but I do not lie. This happened 48 years ago. I just turned 12 and got my new 12-gauge /pump for my birthday. My family, the men from across the state of L.A., would meet in central L.A. family hunting camp for opening of hunting season. Must be Louisiana. I was from the city boy half of my family, New Orleans. It had put me at some disadvantage to my country cousins. So on the last evening hunt, I felt I had some catching up to do. I was told to stay on the trail. But, well, anyway, I was a good way into the big swamp. This is the first year I was allowed to hunt with the men. I froze when I saw what I thought was the biggest squirrel I'd ever seen. I set the shot and took it. It fell and turned out to be a raccoon. Well, he was down but not out. I chased/tracked him for some time. And when I had to stop because I was having trouble seeing, it had gotten dark, and I realized I had no idea where I had ended up. I did not panic at first. It took about 2 minutes with the fall of complete darkness. The water was not deep here, so I put my butt in the crook of a tree. At first, I waited a bit, hoping someone would yell for me, but nope. So I fired my last 3 shells as fast as I could and waited. As I sat there whimpering, the only thing I could see was the stars through the few breaks in the canopy. It did not take long. I could hear the splashing/walking through the swamp. But it hit me. No lights. So I held my breath and tried not to make noise. We do have some bear and cats too, if you believe the campfire stories. I began to shake, and an unnatural deep fear came over me. The sparse bit of sky I kept looking at to avoid the full darkness all about me was blocked, and the sound stopped. Well, I think it did, because all I could hear at that moment was the buzzing in my ears. As I looked up, and I mean all the way up, all I could see was what looked like flowing long hairs off an outline that had to be a shoulder. This is when I completely lost it. Full-blown crying/mumbling. I'm a little embarrassed to say, for my mommy. I think I recall a musty animal sort of smell, and you must remember a lifetime of dreaming and reliving this, so I'll not swear. But I think I heard breathing/deep halted. And peaking equals me seeing swaying. I'm sure of one thing. When I began praying for God and Jesus to please save me, after a bit I began to calm a little and looked up, and it was still very dark, but I could see stars again through the breaks in the canopy. Then, just moments go by, I could hear my uncle and cousins calling to me. I was so happy to see them, but they were angry at me. They wanted to know why I did not stay still and kept running away from them and not answering their calls. I swore I did no such thing. The response was, "I guess you never pissed yourself either," in their coon-ass accent. I shut up at that point and just followed them out. The thing that gets me is when my older cousin asked me why I'd gone so deep into Big Swamp. I told him about the coon I never found. He laughed so hard at me and showed the coon to me. He said he found it right in front of where they found me, not 2 feet from my feet. Just think it may have been close enough to touch one. I never even saw him. Steve, that was it for me. I've never gone back to the camp. I did take my son hunting, but close to home, and never overnight. P.S. My folks sent me to a head shrinker once, and that was it. I clammed up, and but good. This really hurt my relationship with my pop, but it was never too good anyway. It is my deepest hope someone can find something in this that can help, even a little. God bless you all, my friends in the Club of No Return, Bob. All right, Bob, thanks for that email, man. That'll be frickin' terrifying for a little boy to have that as your first time being able to go hunt with the men. Having that shit go down. No, thank you. Sounds like you dropped off your raccoon for you, too. That's kind of gesture. Well, hopefully it helps somebody. I guarantee you somebody from the same area is listening to this channel, listening to your story. I guarantee it. People are listening to each other here all over the frickin' world, man. People are listening to everybody talk here and share honest knowledge. That's a good thing. Now, anyway, that's it for our break. I gotta get driving, and I think this is going to put me on the Duffy Lake Highway for last light, and if not darkness, driving up and over that one. I always wonder sometimes, all right, here we go, last light, not so busy. Wintertime, very not so busy. Wintertime and dark, really not busy. I wonder if this time's going to be the time one of them reveals themselves in the headlights on that highway. I always think, we can't not think about it driving over the highway. You can't. It's not possible. Way too much action there. But anyway, I got to get my adventure puppy going. Had a bunch of raw elk steaks I saved for the road trip and fed her up. Made her run around in the snow over there. Oh, I can't make. I'm trying to make a decision where there's this old, like, logging road / trail, hairpins, steep, all the way up these mountains right here. It goes over the top and then drops down through native reserve and back on the highway. We used to call it the shortcut, but not this time of year. It's a blizzard right now, and there's zero traffic this whole time sitting here on this old road that goes that way. There's nobody driving. I'm not sure if I should go that way or not, or double back half an hour of the highway and take the pavement to avoid the chance of getting stuck up there, maybe. No inReach in the truck. What do you think, puppy? Play safe? Lose an hour drive, half an hour drive? What do you think? You're the co-pilot. What should we do? Doesn't matter. Have you had enough to eat? She's got a way more comfortable bed than that in the back. Anyway, enough of that. I gotta go. And again, maybe everybody can send out a huge, sweet, happy birthday to our super kind, generous First Nations superhero lady. It's her birthday today. I'd imagine this video will be up tomorrow, the next day. But it's never too late, right? And keep emailing in your honest knowledge. And we will be back shortly.